Hey, what's going on today? We got a little bit of a different setup because we're doing a little bit of a different video. As you can see by the title, today I'm going through my record collection. I'm just trying to branch out, from just reaction content because it gets stale, just doing the same thing over and over again. I like to be creative, I like to express myself, and there's a couple of things I've been working on in the background. Some of them just haven't panned out. But this one, I feel like it's relatively easy. We can have a good time. We can sit down. I can kind of talk to you a little bit about things I enjoy, and I'm sure, seeing that a lot of my audience came from me reacting to classic rock. I'm assuming that a lot of you guys have record collections or had record collections of your own. So, let me know what's in your collection. Give me a little story about your favorite record down in the comments below. And yeah, I just want to have a conversation. So, yeah, the way this is going to work, the first record I'm going to show you today is what I'm listening to right now. And then it is from Z to A. So reverse alphabet, I guess, is what it. Yeah, reverse alphabet, reverse alphabetical. So, I will just pull out the record, tell you what it is, tell you what I think about it, rate it out of 10, and then kind of tell you the story, how I came across it. If there is a story, if there's not really a story, I'll just say it. Okay. Enough wasting time. Let's just get into the first record, which is Kid A by Radiohead. Now, this record is really cool. I actually reacted to this video on my channel. Not sure which one is going to come out first because I already know it's going to get blocked and copyright striked out the window. So, as of recording this, I haven't even started editing it, and it's over an hour long of footage. So, if it is out right now, it'll be somewhere up here. There'll be a little I, and it says right here. It'll say right here. If it's not, keep on make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when it's coming. All right, so I don't really have a story about this one. This one, I was visiting home, and there's a local record store I went to a lot back home, and I saw that. No. This was. Yeah, so I recorded the reaction, and then I went back and visited home, and I was like, hey, I like this album. I'm going to get it. And so I did. Why is my camera bugging? Sorry if you see camera glitches, guys. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, next record, we got ZZ Top Eliminator. I always forget what this album's called. I just call it the Car album by ZZ Top. It's got Sharp Dressed Man and what's the other one? Got Me Under Pressure. Yeah, that one. This is a good album. I listen to this one on occasion. ZZ Top's a good band. Good band just for partying. Oh, I forgot I was rating these out of 10. So, Kid A, I rated it on the video, but I think I gave it like a 9 out of 10 because it's a near perfect album. I'm not a huge fan of the first two songs. Yeah. And then the ZZ Top album, I will give a 7 out of 10. It's just a solid rock album. I don't think it's anything incredible, but it does the job. It's good for partying. So, yeah, same. I think I bought. No. This was. I was still living at home when I bought this. Went to a record store. Went to that local record store I was talking about, and this was literally like $10. So they have them sitting everywhere, and I was like, you know what? Might as well add it to the collection, and so I did. And yeah, that's pretty much the story behind that. And the next album is 9125 by Yes. I have dyslexia, so I can't remember the exact order of the the numbers on this album. I can't walk and chew gum. Get back in there. Thank you. Yeah, I got this one from McKay's, which is a used bookstore, for pretty cheap. I don't remember how I found out about Yes, but I heard Roundabout and I was hooked. I'm a pretty big Yes fan now. I would give that one a 9 out of 10. That is a great album, fantastic album. If you haven't listened to it, you need to. You're missing out big time if you haven't. All right, the next album. This is a bit of a change up. This is a newer album. This actually came out this year, and I pre-ordered it. So we have Trauma Ray Chameleon. This is a very underground band. You probably don't know who they are, which is fine. But I'd encourage you to check them out. They're kind of like, they're like a grungy kind of thing. Kind of like, I know I checked out My Bloody Valentine on the channel. They're a lot like that, but heavier. I think they're called technically like metal gaze, which is metal and shoegaze. I think that's stupid. They're just heavy shoegaze. Oh, and I want to show you the actual thingy, the record for this one, because this one's cool. People are going to get mad at how I handle the record. I'm doing my best, I swear. So yeah, it's got like, it's sick. It's probably the coolest looking record I own. And I got it for like $30. So yeah, I'm going to give that album 10 out of 10. It's a perfect album. First 10 out of 10 on out of my records so far. Get back in there. One of my favorite bands so far. All right, next up we have this album has a great story behind it. We have Clancy by 21 Pilots. I initially wasn't very excited for this album, to be honest, because, you know, Scaled and Icy came out, and I was like, this just sucks. So I wasn't going to react to this on the channel. Oh, I almost got Trauma Ray on the channel too, but I couldn't wait because, you know, I pre-ordered the album, and the record actually shipped before the album came out, so I had... Oh. The record came out before the album had come out on streaming, so I just listened to it all on vinyl and then listened to it on streaming. So I don't think they were supposed to send out the records that early, but it is what it is. I got mine early. Anyway, back to Clancy. So this album, wasn't very excited for it. I was expecting it to be kind of like Scaled and Icy, just Scaled and Icy Part 2, because, you know, bands get older and they mature, and I understood that, and I was like, whatever. But this was actually a really, really good album. One of my favorite 21 Pilots album. It's fighting between this and Trench. I have really good memories with this album and one really bad memory with this album. So when I bought this album, I was with my best friend Carson. He's been in a couple of my videos if you've been around the channel for a while. But I was with him. We were hanging out, and then we were going to go to the beach with my family and him. And we went to a record store while I was hanging out with his family and him. And I bought this and a Slow Dive record, which we'll get to in a minute. Also want to show this off. This is probably the second coolest record I own. The coolest looking record I own. Very cool. But on the way to the beach, the roads were heavily under construction. And a dude who was not experienced in driving big trucks was driving a U-Haul, and he did one of this, and I was right next to him, so he hit me. I veer off into the lane, which is full of cars. It's very heavily trafficked. It's somewhere in Columbia, I think, South Carolina. South Carolina drivers are my biggest op, like bigger than Tennessee drivers where I live. I still think South Carolina drivers are the worst in the South. I haven't driven all over the South, but out of everywhere I've driven, South Carolina drivers are the worst. But yeah, I got in a wreck, and me and Carson, we look at each other. Are you okay? Yes. Are the records okay? Oh crap, I hope so. And we got out the car. You know, my parents are, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? We were following them on the road. They're freaking out, and I'm like, we're fine. And we open the door. The records are fine, and it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. The car's dented, but the records are fine. That's all that matters. So yeah, this album also came out like a week or two after I graduated. So it was, I don't know, some of the songs just hit. Yeah, great album. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10 when me and Carson listened to it. So I'm gonna stand by that 8 out of 10. I don't. It's not a perfect album by any means, but it's really good. It is really really good. And then speaking of 21 Pilots, I got two more 21 Pilots records. I got Trench, which I don't have a story behind really. This is a 9 out of 10 near perfect album. Honestly, I don't have any complaints about this album. It's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So just in terms of music, I think this is the superior album. But in terms of memory, I think Clancy puts the cherry on top. And then we got Blurry Face. I don't have a story behind this one. I bought this from a store that is now out of business. At least the location I went to is now out of business. And the vinyl's like warped and like completely destroyed. I bought this when I still had a suitcase player. So it's like whatever. This is more of a collector's thing because this was kind of the album that got me into 21 Pilots. It's got this cool thing. It's more of just like hey, I liked this album a lot when the first time I heard 21 Pilots. So I bought it. Yeah, so that's all the 21 Pilots record. This one's a 7 or maybe a 6 and 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, yeah. Next up, I think is the coolest cover art I have for any album. This is This Wall of Eyes by The Smile. And for those of you who don't know, The Smile is Thom Yorke and Jonny Greenwood of Radiohead's other band. It's phenomenal. Really recommend you check it out if you're a fan of Radiohead. This album, I got into them right around the time they were releasing singles for this album. And I just fell in love. And they put this out, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to... I need to stop. I was like, okay, now I'm going to be on edge for the rest of the video. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. I'm so freaking clumsy. But anyway, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford a new copy of this because it's going to be relatively expensive, I imagine, because it's Radiohead. Everything they have is like $40 minimum. Like, you cost $40 for a snapback cap. But anyway, I found this one at McKay's. Not even in the section The Smile was in. It was under like the country section or something. I was looking at CDs, and then I turn around. This is just staring at me. I'm like, oh, I need that. Fantastic album. The vinyl is blue. I'll show it to you, but I'm scared now because if I drop this, I'm going to burn down a village in Minecraft. It's blue. Very cool. Please do not do that again. Here is the case I kept the 21 Pilots album in. It used to have glass in it from where my window shattered, but I guess it fell out when I was moving. Oh, Wall of Eyes is a 10 out of 10. I think that's a perfect album. Alright, next we got Midnight Hour by Steve Cropper. I haven't listened to this one a ton, but it's pretty good. So, for those of you who don't know, there's this movie called The Blues Brothers. It's about these guys who are in a band called The Blues Brothers, and this guy played guitar for it. And the movie is really, really old, so I'm surprised the dude was still alive. But I was talking to my friend, and he was like, hey, this was maybe a week after I had moved to Nashville. He was like, hey, Steve Cropper's coming to town, coming to Grimey's, which is where I bought this from. And he's going to be signing records and stuff. And I was like, who the heck is Steve Cropper? And he's like, you haven't seen The Blues Brothers? And I was like, no. He's like, well, we're going to watch that. And so we got together and watched that. And I was like, that's a pretty good movie. So we made plans to meet him. And we went there. He was like, okay, you got to buy his record so he can sign it. And I was like, okay, bet. Bought the record. And then we talked to the cashier. And he's like, oh, yeah. They're like, yeah, he's not coming. The traffic was too bad. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. But they were like, okay, we'll email you next time he's back, so you can come back and you get the record signed. So I gave him my email. My buddy gave him his, and we waited. They emailed us. He was coming back, and then they were like, nope, not again. He's not doing it again. And then they emailed me. They emailed a third time, and I didn't get this one. I wasn't paying attention to my email or something, or they entered in the wrong numbers or something. And so I went home for the weekend. It was like Labor Day weekend or something. So I went home, and he got to meet Steve Cropper, and I didn't. And I'm still pretty mad about that. Not mad at him, just mad at the circumstances. Steve Cropper's you got to be late 70s, early 80s. He's really old. So it is what it is. I got a cool album out of it. I listened to this one enough to give it a rating. I need to listen to it more. Next we got Souvlaki. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. By Slowdive. Pretty big Slowdive fan. If you couldn't tell, the shirt says Slowdive. I like shoegaze. It's one of my favorite genres of music. I really got into it recently, when it kind of popped off on TikTok. Even before that. I don't remember exactly when I got into it, but because it was kind of popular, then is one of the reasons I did get into it ultimately. So I discovered Deftones, and I was like, these guys slap. And everyone's like, yeah, they're a shoegaze adjacent band. And I said, what the heck is a shoegaze? And then the rabbit hole started, and I've been going deeper into it every day. Yeah, this is a great album. 7 out of 10. And this is the Slowdive record I was talking about earlier with 21 Pilots. This one survived a car crash. Yes, Souvlaki did not. This is a really good album. In my opinion, this album is better than Souvlaki. Just in my opinion, as a new listener, I think this album beats out. There's songs on Souvlaki that I think don't even touch this, but overall, this is a more solid album. There's songs on the Souvlaki that I'm kind of like, okay, that's whatever. There's not a single song like that on this. This is a perfect album. And it's, this Slowdive's been going since the 90s, maybe even before that, 90s or 80s or 90s. So the fact that they're still consistent in this day and age is impressive. So yeah, 10 out of 10, perfect album. All right, now we're back into the Radiohead albums. We have the bands. I don't have them in any particular order. This is just kind of the order that I guess I've listened to them last. It's a great album. I do play this one quite often. Most people have heard OK Computer in the modern day and age, so if people hadn't listened to this, I'll say either In Rainbows next or this one next. If they're looking for more of the rock side, I suggest this. If they're looking for more of the kind of chill, airy side, I say In Rainbows. But yeah, this is a great album. I don't have any problems with this one. 10 out of 10. Radiohead was one of my favorite bands. Senior year of high school, I played a lot of Radiohead. It's when I really got into them was kind of middle of my senior year. So this one doesn't have a story on how I got it. I was like, Radiohead. I like Radiohead. Bye. I can't remember if I got this one or OK Computer first. OK Computer is next, obviously. Actually, no, I lied. Next up, we got Amnesiac. Very cool album cover. I like this one significantly better than Kid A's album cover. I think they should have just put this is a good album, but honestly it's carried by Pyramid Song, not gonna lie, in my opinion. So honestly, I think they should just put Pyramid Song on Pyramid Song and Knives Out and there's a couple others. I hadn't listened to this one in a while, but Knives Out, You and Who's Army, and Pyramid Song I feel like should have just been on Kid A, and then they made this the album cover and then B-sides. I don't know. I like this album cover a lot more than Kid A. in terms of the actual songs, I think it's a little under Kid A because they have a little more of that weird experimental stuff I'm not a huge fan of, but they also have Pyramid Song, which I am a huge fan of. So 7 out of 10. All right, up next we got OK Computer, one of the best albums of all time. I don't really have a story for this one. I just saw it and was like, this is a good album, and then I bought it. 10 out of 10, great album. Perfect. And we have In Rainbows. This might have been the first Radiohead album I bought. Not the first one I listened to for sure, but this was the first one. I'm pretty sure this was the first one I bought. First one I listened to, I think, was it was either the first one or OK Computer. But yeah, this is another perfect album. 10 out of 10. I don't have a story behind this one either. I just saw it and was like, Radiohead, cool, bye. All right, next up we got Ryan Adams, the Demolition. Ryan Adams was a band that my dad and my uncle... A band. Yeah, Ryan Adams, the band. No, Ryan Adams is an artist my dad and my uncle are really into. I like some of his songs. This is a good record. Not something I listen to a lot, but I paid like $20 for this at McKay's, so I think I got my money's worth out of it. It's a good album. It's just nice and chill. Yeah, Ryan Adams is pretty good. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I don't listen to it a whole lot, but I do enjoy it. I have Greatest Hits by Queen. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to not crush all my vinyls. We have Greatest Hits by Queen. This one has a red vinyl, which is very cool. Oh my gosh. Please. See, it's red. I don't want to get it out any more than that, because if I drop it, I am going to do unspeakable things. In Minecraft. Yeah, Queen's Greatest Hits. I hadn't listened to that one a whole lot, but you know, it's all Queen's greatest hits. So 10 out of 10, because Queen's greatest hits are all good. I like all of them. It's a great little compilation thing. My parents bought that for me for my birthday, and it was kind of a surprise, you know? When the older you get, the less kind of surprises you get. They're just like, hey, do you want this? And I say yes. Or like, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, you're hard to shop for. And I said, well, just get me like any record or any CD. But then they're like, well, you won't like it then, you know? You're picky or whatever. And this one, they knew I liked. They know I like Queen, so it was a surprise, and I like that, you know. Pine Grove. This band had a chokehold on me like a month ago. I listened to nothing but Pine Grove for a long time. I listened to them so much. I'm kind of burnt out on them at the moment. Hadn't listened to a lot of their songs. I hadn't listened to a lot of their songs lately just because I listened to them so much. Pine Grove, I kind of found when Need To blew up on the internet, and I was like, this is a great song, and I listened to that, just specifically that song for a long time, and then I was like, why am I just listening to this song? People are going to say I'm like a poser or whatever, so I listened to the rest of this album and all their other albums. Yeah, very good. This is a very good album. It's like a 10 out of 10. This one is like a compilation of previous EPs, which are all really good. I'm hoping to get my hands on some of their later albums as well, but I have not. I think their last album came out in 2022, so next year, New Pine Grove, please. Evan Stephen Hall, if you're watching this, New Pine Grove, please. I've listened to your old stuff so much I can't listen to it anymore. Please, New Pine Grove. Who am I kidding? He's not watching this. Oh, Luke, what do you mean? He could be watching. He's not watching this. Alright, up next we have Porcupine Tree, Closer continuation.
You better not drop me, you filthy degenerate.
You done? Closure continuation. This is a good album. You might be wondering how in the world I found a band with the name like Porcupine Tree. And they were just on my Spotify recommended while I was at summer camp. This is my last year at summer camp. I was a junior in high school. and they were really, really, really pushing the competitive games at summer camp this year, and I was just so exhausted, and we had to get up at 6 in the morning, and we had to follow everything the people running the camp wanted done to a T, and I was just so exhausted, and I hated my cabin. The people my group was cabining with, and I was just, this is so stupid. Why am I here? So I could have gone one more year, but I didn't because that experience was so bad. I just wasn't messing with it. But yeah, the one good thing that did come out of that trip, they had a good night service too. But can't speak. One of the good things that came out of this that camp was I discovered Porcupine Tree, and I listened to them a lot, and I really like them. This is a good album. This is their latest. They're kind of a proggy band. If you don't know who they are, if you're not familiar with them, they're kind of like a more chill Opeth. If you know who Opeth is, if you don't know who Opeth is, take like Dream Theater, but more serious. Like, you don't have Jordan Rudess putting ragtime. You don't have it's Dream Theater, but like no crazy piano. There's good piano in it, but it's not like Jordan Rudess good. So yeah, they're pretty good. You should check them out if you can. That's another perfect record. 10 out of 10. I can't remember if I said that or not. Guess we'll find out when I'm watching this back. I'm slowly losing my mind. I'm talking to myself pretty much. I wish that I had someone here, sitting here, that I could talk to and maybe like have a second person who's talking about their experiences with their records. But nope, I'm just in my room by myself. Okay, next album. We have my favorite album of all time, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. I have 2 copies of this album. One of them, I don't know if it's an original press or not, but it's really stinking old, and it's so old I can't listen to it, so I bought another one that I can listen to. Yeah. I won't show off the other one. Actually, well, yeah, I will, because then you're going to be like, oh, you're faking. Here's the other one. It's really freaking old. It's all brown and stuff, and, like, covers falling apart. And it's gross looking. It's been through it. It might not be original, like an original pressing, but it might be like 20 years old. I don't freaking know. It's cool though. I got this one as a Christmas present. Okay, we're still on the Pink Floyd train. Last Pink Floyd album I have. I only have 2 technically, but 2 copies of the same album. We got Dark Side of the Moon, of course. It keeps falling and I keep losing my place. Don't have a story behind this one. I just like this album. Second best Pink Floyd album. Very overrated though. Wish You Were Here is much better. 10 out of 10. That's a perfect album. Another one. Next up, we have Of Monsters and Men. My Head is an Animal. Might be a little unexpected for you guys, but I actually have a pretty diverse taste in music, so I like all kinds of things, not just rock music. That's just what I gravitate toward. So this is kind of like a more pop album, pop folk. I don't know what you call it. It's early 2010s pop. I just bought it because it's nostalgic for me. This and Imagine Dragons was on all the time when I was growing up, and everyone's like, "This is stupid. This sucks." And I don't agree. I'll say it. I don't agree. I don't think the first Imagine Dragons album sucks, and this is a decent album. Do I listen to it every day? Absolutely not. It would get on my nerves, but it's a good album for just putting it on every once in a while. 6.5 out of 10. I don't have a story on how I got this. I did buy this at the same store that is now out of business, and this one also looks fancy. It's pink. Do not do that to me. Oh my gosh. It's pink, and I thought it was pink and blue, but it's just pink. And it's got like little chips of things in there. Stop the focus. Good album for just laying back and you have someone you don't really know what they like. You put that on, chances are they're not gonna hate it. And if they do, then you put on something else. But that's like kind of a safe, you know, you might call it coworker music, but I enjoy that aspect of coworker music. All right, up next we have Miles Davis. Dig. I love Miles Davis. I played trumpet in middle school band and freshman year of high school, but then they made me join marching band, and I was like, this is stupid. So I quit. I did not like marching band, but I did like concert band, and I was in jazz band in 8th grade. I was horrid. They put me on 3rd trumpet because I didn't practice. I was like, I know what I'm doing. I've been playing trumpet since 6th grade. I know what I'm doing. I'm good enough. I don't have to practice. I can read music now. I was not good. Honestly, I might pick it back up one day. Might make for an entertaining video, but I love Miles Davis. This is a great album. 10 out of 10. It's all instrumental, so it's hard to hate a song unless it was just stupid. If it was just stupid, then yeah, I wouldn't like it, but this is a good album. 10 out of 10. Very dated sounding is the only complaint I have, but that's because it's a very dated album. It's old. It's old as all get out. I bought this at our local record store for cheap. I love cheap jazz records. You'll be seeing that some more later. Alright, next up we have Absolution by Muse. This is the deluxe edition, I think. I have no idea. But the normal one has like a dude on the cover. This has a girl on the cover. Yeah, good album. Probably the best Muse album in my opinion. The kind of the story behind how I found Muse. I had the flu for like a solid 2 weeks in 2022, 1 or 2. It was 2021 or 2. I think it was sophomore year. So I didn't go to school for 2 weeks, and I sat in my room, which was in the basement, and played Metroid Dread, which had just come out. Whatever year Metroid Dread came out, that's the year that I got the flu. I bought that, played nothing but that for 2 weeks, and listened to Muse. Yeah. I still haven't beat it. That is a stupid hard game. This is like a 7 out of 10. Best Muse album, but there are better artists than Muse in that style of music. Especially Muse now. I liked the songs when they came out. I actually have a couple reactions to some of their songs off of Will of the People, and I liked them when they came out, but just I haven't listened to any of them since I made those videos. So I don't know if that tells you anything. A lot of people really hate that album. I don't think it's a strong album, but I don't think it's bad. I just hadn't listened to it since I reacted to it, so take that with a grain of salt. Next up, we have one of the greatest albums of all time, Meteora by Linkin Park. I will die on this hill. Linkin Park is fantastic and revolutionary. I love Linkin Park. Got into them freshman year of high school during COVID. Funny enough, I got into them because I don't remember who, but there was a reaction channel I liked watching who was reacting to a ton of Linkin Park, and I was like, this is like an emo band, right? It's like My Chemical Romance, and I listened to Numb off of this album, and I had my mind blown and listened to nothing but Linkin Park for the rest of that year. So, and I still listen to them a fair bit. I think their new album is very great. I was going to put it on the channel, but I was out of town when it came out, and I did not want to wait, so I listened to the whole thing in the car. I think it's fantastic. This does not touch Meteora, though. Meteora is a 10 out of 10. Perfect album. I don't have a story of when I bought it. I just kind of bought it. It was one of those things. I think I was out with friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Meteora. If I break a record doing this, I'm gonna do something. in Minecraft. Okay, and then continuing with the Linkin Park theme, we have Hybrid Theory next. Another perfect album. I think Hybrid Theory and Meteora are on the same level. People ask me what my favorite Linkin Park album is. I say both of them because they're both great. I think they're both fantastic. Yeah. 10 out of 10. Perfect album. Sound like a broken record. I hope I'm not sounding like a broken record. I don't want to break a record. We shouldn't be talking about broken records, because if I break a record, I'm not going to be happy. Pretty sure this is the last Linkin Park album thing. It's the Lost Demos. I pre-ordered this whenever Meteora 20 was coming out for like $28. It's good. I was expecting more of like the songs, like the actual songs that they put out with Meteora 20 with I can't remember. It was like Massive and stuff like that. Massive is one of my favorite Linkin Park songs, and it was a B-side off of Meteora. And I think it's on here. Yeah, it's on here, but I was expecting the whole album to be like that, and it's not. Still good, though. Still very interesting. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. All right, up next we got Led Zeppelin 4. Great album. I think it's my favorite Led Zeppelin album. I hadn't listened to a bunch of Led Zeppelin's other albums. I've heard 3, I think was the other one. It's got rainbows on the cover. It's the one with Immigrant Song. That's a good one, too, but I don't think it touches this one. This is a fantastic album. I have no complaints about it. 10 out of 10. Stairway to Heaven, Black Dog, like, you can't go wrong with this one. Led Zeppelin 4 is great. Oh, I got that as like a present of some kind. I don't remember. Someone gave it to me. That was... We got another obscure one here, boys. We got Jean Lopani. Or is it Jean Lopani? I don't know. French name. I bought this for $1.95. I don't know if you can see that. $1.95 at McKay's, and it was the best $1.95 I've ever spent. I bought drinks more expensive than this album. If that says anything. This is a fantastic album. It's all instrumental jazz. Again, I love cheap jazz records. Anywhere, any place I go that sells records, I'm looking for the cheap jazz records, and this one holds a special place in my heart because it was the first cheap jazz record I ever bought, and I'm very happy with it. 10 out of 10. So we got one that's gonna excite some of you guys. We got Mr. Croce. You guys. I put the last song of Jim's that I reacted to. You guys were still mad at how I pronounced his name. So, Jim C, my boy Jim C, Life in the Times. This is the first record I bought in Nashville. I moved here, and my buddy took me to this store called Phonolux, Southeast Nashville, I think. Yeah, Southeast Nashville, and it's pretty great. It's a good album. I don't really... Yeah, this one. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this album. This is a great album. I don't spin this one as much as I should, but I do really like it. I don't know if this is... I can't remember if this is an original or not. It's not in good condition. This is in worse condition than Wish You Were Here, so it might be an original. Yeah, it says 1973 on the bottom, so I think it's an original, which is very cool. 10 out of 10 album. Great album. We got Mr. Jimi Hendrix. I already know people are going to be mad that I called him that. Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? One of the greatest guitar players to ever walk the face of the earth. The dude was a genius. Like, you can only imagine what the dude would have known if he would have known music theory. Like, what he could have done. He probably would have surpassed, like, Yngwie and all those crazy people. I still think he's a better player than Yngwie, because Yngwie is just kind of like... And he's got a massive ego. He's just like, oh, I'm Yngwie Malmsteen. I don't like donuts, and you will not give me one. And I like my guitar with scalloped frets. And I have my own bath soap and lotion. Yeah, I don't know. That was like a semi-German accent. I don't think Yngwie's Swedish, I think. I don't know what he is, but he's something. He's a good guitar player, but he's got a crazy... Enough about Yngwie. Jimi Hendrix, this is a great album. This is 10 out of 10. I don't have a story behind this one. I just kind of bought it. Oh, I'm remembering. I'm starting to see how much money I have put into records, and it's a little alarming. Do I have any regrets, though? Absolutely not. But yeah, my buddy who I brought up a couple of times in this video, I don't know if he wants me to say his name or not. He's got over 400 records. So if you thought, wow, this kid sure has a lot of records, you ain't seen nothing. We'll just be having a conversation. I'm like, man, that was a great album. He's like, oh yeah, I have that. I got the original print of that. And I'm like, bruh. And then, like, I've been looking for Echoes by Pink Floyd everywhere. And he's like, oh yeah, I got that. And I'm like, bro. It's crazy. Some guy on on the last Grateful Dead video I did called me like an infant or something. And he's like, yeah, pretty crazy for an infant's rate. Pretty crazy for an infant's. Maybe that's what I titled the video. Infants record collection. Maybe I am an infant. I can't speak. All right, we are into Foo Fighters. Controversial band lately because Dave Grohl cheated on his wife. I don't care. I think that's like the least offensive thing he could have done. Like, you look at all the celebrities lately, all the rock stars and stuff that have gotten into deep crap because they went to Epstein's Island, and y'all are like, yeah, whatever, that sounds about in character. And then you have Dave Grohl, who cheats on his wife and fathers a child, then comes forward and is like, hey, I screwed up. I'm going to be the best father I can to this child. And you're like... Shame on Dave Grohl, he made a mistake. And I think that's stupid. Foo Fighters is a great band. This is a good album, Concrete and Gold. Who's calling me? Oh, that's my father, I better pick that up. Sorry about that, guys. I completely lost my train of thought. Golden Concrete, Foo Fighters, good album. I have no issues with it, 10 out of 10. It's hard to have a miss with Foo Fighters, for sure. Sky is a Neighborhood is such a good song. I love that song. Alrighty. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Long video. I doubt people are going to watch this all the way through. I didn't think that through. We have Foo Fighters' Medicine at Midnight. This is like an alternative cover or something. The tape feels real, which is very strange. And there's like this weird red marker thing, but it's not a red crayon thing, but it's not like actually crayon. I bought this at a different record store that was local to my home. It's a good album. I don't think it's as good as Concrete and Gold, but it's still really dang good. I remember not caring for Shame too much, so 9 out of 10. I hadn't listened to this one as much as I should have. But I've seen Medicine at Midnight a ton just at record stores, and it's like $30, and there's not that many songs on it, and I was like, dang, I'm not paying $30 for that little songs. Then I saw this one. This one has a different cover, and it's cheap, and it was cheaper, so I was like, yeah, I'll get it. So very happy with that purchase. We got kind of an obscure band here. We got Dive, Frog and Boiling Water. If you've recognized the other shoegaze albums that I've talked about thus far, you'll recognize Dive, I'm sure. Dive is great. I don't remember how I found them. This was just one of those records that I bought, and it was very good. I think, how I found Dive is I heard the song Taker, and I was like, this is a good song, and then I just got into all their other stuff. This is kind of, their earlier stuff's really airy and floaty, and then this is kind of grungy, and it's not as heavy as Trauma Ray, but it's still pretty heavy. in comparison to their older stuff. But yes, I like this album a lot. I listen to this album so much I can't really listen to it anymore, unfortunately. I do still like a lot of the songs, though. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Got another Dive album. I don't remember what this one's called. Is the R. The Is R. Is that what it's called? Is R. Yeah, that's what it's called. My uncle got this one for me, not knowing that I was into Dive. He's like, happy birthday, and got this for me. And I was like, oh, I love Dive. And he was like, hey, that's great. Got lucky there. Yeah, great album. I think I like Frog and Boiling Water more. But since I listen to Frog and Boiling Water so much, I can't really listen to it anymore. I listen to this one more now. This is a lot more airy. It's almost like a different band on this album than on Frog and Boiling Water. So, yeah, I think I like everything on here. So, like a 8 out of 10. I think there's a couple songs that I'm like, eh. Next we got Disciple, Southern Hospitality. This is a Christian metal band. They're pretty great. I saw them live, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? It's been a while, but I saw them live and they were selling this. And I hadn't listened to this album a whole lot. I really like their other stuff, but I hadn't listened to this one a ton. So I bought it, and it is a good album. I like it. 8 out of 10. They put on a great show, by the way. Disciple did. It wasn't just them that we saw live. It was kind of like a festival of different Christian artists, and they gave Disciple no time. I was kind of mad about that, but with the little bit of time they had, Disciple killed it. Anyway, enough on that. We got Coldplay Parachutes. Controversial one here. I like Coldplay. What are you gonna do about it? Shoot me? Go ahead and shoot me because I like Coldplay, yeah. This is their best album by a long shot. If you wrote off Coldplay because... Sorry about that, I'm very popular tonight. But anyway, Coldplay Parachutes. I'm gonna die on this hill. This is a great album. This is fantastic. If you've written off Coldplay just because you heard Viva La Vida 40 billion times and you're like, this is stupid, I don't want to listen to this anymore, listen to this album. It's very refreshing. It's beautiful. And I love it. It's great. It's one of my favorite albums. 10 out of 10. We're in the C's. We're almost there. Home stretch, baby. Yeah, because next up is the Black Keys. This is Delta Cream. Love this album. Can't remember if this one is all covers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one is all covers, which is fine. Of old Delta Blues songs with their twist on it, which is very good. It's a very good album. I really enjoy it. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. It's my favorite Black Keys album. Not by a long shot, no, but it's still good. I still quite enjoy it. Oh, shoot. I screwed up my order. I got one more C. Chuck Berry Rocket. This is the first record I ever got. Crazy. I like Chuck Berry. I played Johnny Be Good for a church event. And it was a lot of fun. Very stressful. I almost threw up afterwards because I have terrible stage fright. But yes, it's quite fun. This is a good album. You know, just rockabilly, standard rockabilly. No one does it better than Chuck Berry. 8 out of 10. I got a record player unexpectedly for my birthday. I think I was 17. Yeah, it was my 17th birthday. And it was kind of unexpected. I was like, yeah, a record player would be cool, but I can afford all these records, you know? And then they got me one, and they got me this album, and I spun this album a lot. It was just an old suitcase player, so... Maybe I did ask for I can't remember. I think they were like, do you want a record player? And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then they got it for me, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Good album. A lot of good memories attached to this album. And I put it in the wrong slot. Not ideal. Next up, we have Rubber Soul by the Beatles. Great album. Revolver is my favorite Beatles album, and unfortunately I don't have a copy of it on vinyl yet. But Norwegian Wood and Blackbird, great songs. It's a great album. I really enjoy it. I don't have any complaints with that. I haven't really spun it enough to give it like a proper review, but 10 out of 10 from what I can remember. Don't have a story for this one. I just went out with my grandparents, I think, and they were like, buy a record. And I was like, okay. Alright, up next we got the Beach Boys. Is this the greatest hit, best of Beach Boys? Pretty good. It's got 2 LPs. You know, there's some great songs in here like California Girls. Everyone thinks the new California Girls is what I'm talking about whenever I talk about how good of a song California Girls is. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a great song. California Girls, unforgettable. And I'm like, oh no, that song sucks. I'm talking about the good one. 1965, baby. This and Kokomo, I think, are my favorite of the Beach Boys. This was the second record I got. I got this as on the same birthday as I got the record player. Very great. Very good album. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 just because the Beach Boys gets old really fast. This style of music is very grating if you listen to it all the time. And I listened to it a lot when I first got my record player because, you know, I had this and Chuck Berry. So I'd take Chuck Berry over this is what I'm trying to say. I think this is the first Beatles album. It's not. I doubt it's an original pressing because this album's like 1,000,000 years old, but it is pretty freaking old. Probably from like the 90s or 80s or something. Good album. I like the Beatles a lot. They're really good. Again, Revolver's my favorite album, and I don't have that one. I'm still kind of sad about that. And it's a really expensive album, too. Like, if you get it, it's a big... The only Revolver thing I've seen is, like, a big box set that's, like, $60. And I'm like, ugh. I don't know about that. I just want the record. Yeah, this is a good album. Revolutionary. Kickstarted the Beatles. So, like, 10 out of 10. You know, I have no complaints. It does... I do have one complaint. It does get pretty grating. Like I said with the Beach Boys. If you listen... This one, no. I didn't have a problem with the grading on this one at all. This one, I can put this on anytime and be like, yeah, I'm vibing. We got the Allman Brothers for $7.25. That's not the album name. That's just how much I paid for it. I don't know. Enlightened Rogues, that's what the album's called. I hadn't listened to this one, actually. I bought it a while ago, and I have not listened to it. I like the Allman Brothers a lot. I just hadn't gotten around to it. So I can't rank this one. I just saw it was cheap and grabbed it. I have nothing to say about it because I haven't listened to it yet. I'm really bad with that, buying albums and never listening to them. I need to get out of that habit. This looks pretty old. I don't think it's an original. It's definitely not original. Jar of Flies. Great album. Probably my favorite thing Alice in Chains has ever done. I really like Dirt too, but I think this is better, honestly. Great album. I love this album. 10 out of 10. It's more as an EP, technically. Yeah, it's an EP. I don't care. It's still a 10 out of 10. It's great. It's my favorite thing Alice in Chains has ever done. I bought this in the same day as the Allman Brothers record. And I listened to this one immediately and still have not listened to the Allman Brothers one, if that tells you anything. With that, we are on my last record. And we have A Place to Bury Strangers Hologram. So you probably do not know who A Place to Bury Strangers is. And I didn't either until they just showed up on my recommended on Spotify and I listened to them. They're a lot of different things. I thought they were a shoegaze band initially, but they're not. They're more of like a experimental kind of rock band. So I discovered them, and then I went to Funalux with my friend, which is where I bought the Jim Crouchy record. And this was pretty cheap there, too. So I had Jim Crouchy. That was going to be the only thing. Jim C., I'm sorry. I'm mispronouncing his name. Riot in the streets. Come find where I live and stone me. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. Honestly, I can take the correction. Just reading the how you're spelling out how his name is pronounced. It doesn't do it. Let's get Google to do it. Croce? Really?
Croce.
Jim Croce. Okay. Well, I bought it the same day as the Jim Croce album. And yeah, it's a great album. It's not perfect by any means, but it's still a great album. And I had listened to them the night before, and I saw this in the store, and I was like, oh, I listened to this band last night for the first time. I'm going to buy this because it's like $20. So I bought it. And I didn't regret it. It's an orange vinyl. Yeah, I love it. I love it when bands take their vinyls and make them colors. I think that's very cool. Yeah, that's gonna do it. If you guys liked the vinyl breakdown, let me know down in the comments and leave a like and watch the video. I can see how long you watched it for. So if you didn't watch the whole thing, I'm going to be very mad. If you didn't watch the whole thing, you're not watching this right now, so it's it's okay. Yeah, just trying out new things. I want to expand my horizons outside of just reaction videos, and I feel like this was a cool way to do this. And like I said, it's been a video that's been bouncing around in my head for like a year now, so I am glad to have this out of my head now. And yeah, like and subscribe, notification bell. I'm sure this won't be the last video I post. See you next time.